everybody, it's Brianna, and today I'm here with a special guest. I'm honored to have him here. He's close to me and so many others. My pastor, Pastor Victor Kirk. Hey, Pastor.
How you doing?
I'm good.
I am honored to be here today.
Yes, I'm so excited. So today, guys, we're going to talk about health. I know there's so many different types of health. We have mental health, physical health, and I shared my story about my health challenges and how I overcame them. And today, I'm sitting down with Pastor Kirk to talk about your health challenges and where you are today.
2018 was a challenging year for me. I was diagnosed with prostate cancer. And it was something that I had been going through a medical checkup for a couple of years, actually. My blood levels that detect prostate were elevated.
Okay.
And they weren't sky high, because talking to different people, just trying to get an understanding, some were really off the charts. Mine wasn't sky high, but there was a concern because my dad had prostate cancer.
Oh, wow.
So when it runs in the family, they really kind of take a different action.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So I had been actually going through a series of testing, blood tests, urinalysis, for about 2.5 years.
Wow. It took that long?
Yeah, well, we were just kind of monitoring it.
Okay.
To make sure that it wasn't getting out of hand, to see if it was going down.
Okay.
I had been exercising, I lost weight. And so, and I, I lost a lot of weight. People thought it was because of the illness later, but no, I was actually
You were actually working out. You were a trainer.
Trainer and everything. Yeah. And but still taking the test, the numbers weren't changing. So the doctor had finally said, listen, the only way we're really going to find what's going on is if we do a biopsy of the prostate.
Yeah.
And I said, well, we've been doing this for several years. Let's go ahead and do that. So interesting enough, so after the test, the doctor said, Mr. Kirk, I've got good news and bad news. Okay. And that's literally what he said. He said the bad news is you do have prostate cancer. What they did in the process, and this is for anyone who's not familiar with the process, they took samples of the prostate.
Okay.
And the prostate, they took 12 samples, and out of the 12, 2 came back with cancer.
Oh, wow.
Right?
2 out of the 12.
2 out of the 12. So you figure that's not bad.
Yeah.
But you still got it.
Yeah.
And so he said, so the bad news is you have it. The good news is you have options.
Oh, yay, I love that word, options.
Because some people don't have options.
Yeah.
They have to do something radical. So the options for me were, one, continue to monitor what we were doing for the last 2 years. Okay. One was chemotherapy. One was radiation.
Wow.
And to be honest with you, just being a pastor and dealing with different members and people who I know who've gone through that, it's something I didn't really want to do.
Yeah.
I know it can, I read up, and radiation or chemo can zap and kill good cells as well as the bad cells.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go that route. So that was an option. Those were options. And then there was something called seed radiation, where they put they concentrate the radiation right at the prostate, not all over.
Oh, so that those 2 areas.
Just those areas.
That's where they concentrated.
Right.
Okay.
Still was a little hesitant. So then the doctor said there was a procedure that was being performed by the National Institute of Health, NIH.
Oh, wow.
And said it was called a parametric biopsy.
Okay.
Or MIR. And what they simply do is they look at the prostate, but they have the ability through this new technology to do a full view of the prostate, almost like in 3D.
Whoa. Is this was it a new process, or it had been around?
Well, he said it was something new that only the NIH was doing.
Whoa.
So he gave me a number and told me to call them, which I did. And they gladly said, hey, come on in, and we'll talk to you, and we'll see what we can do. Yeah. And I didn't realize that you actually have to be invited to
become. When I hear NIH, I'm like, that's big time.
Big time. Government facility.
Yeah.
Big time cancer research facility, as well as other diseases.
Yes.
And it was funny because I went and they asked me to be a part of what they call their protocol. Okay. They said, what we want to do is we not only want to affect the cancer and diagnose and bring about change for you, but we want to research it. We want to see what caused it and help others. So I had to sign something to say I'll be a part of the protocol. They didn't put my name, they signed me a number. And so when I was going through the paperwork, I said to the woman, I said, no one ever asked for a medical card. They did all this, but no one ever. And the lady said, well, NIH, everything's free.
What?
We don't charge, we don't take your medical card.
What?
The charge for us is you allowing us to do the research.
Yes.
Everything is free. So from the testing, I had chest X-rays, MRIs, blood work, urinalysis, even the surgery, completely free.
That's God already. I mean, this is the beginning. Not even before you got, the surgery.
God was in it.
He was in all of it. So.
Yeah, great question. For me, being a pastor, I had to check myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm always telling others, trust God.
Yeah.
Right?
That's true, yeah.
And God will come through. He's a healer.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now I had to put my words into action. So I had to check myself. Yeah. And believe it or not, Brianna, I was really calm through the whole process. I just didn't believe that this was an end for me or the means to an end. Right. I just saw it as a test of my faith and that God was going to give me a testimony and bring me through it. I think the hardest part was sharing it with my family. Mm-hmm. Because when you tell someone you've got cancer,
we think it's over.
Everybody thinks the worst.
Yeah.
And Bree, I had options, as I mentioned.
You did.
So one of the things I did was I consulted a doctor who is very astute in dealing with cancer patients. Mm-hmm. He's a holistic doctor. Okay. And he told me three things, and I'll tell it to you in reverse. Okay. He said, Pastor, first thing you need to do is change your diet, which I had already begun to do that with the weight loss. Yes. He said, second thing he said is exercise. Okay. Which you started doing. I started doing. Yes. And the first thing he said is get stress out of your life. They said, number one, you're young. A lot of times prostate cancer occurs in older men. Oh. And because it occurs in older men who don't even know they have it, they've got to do something radical. They said, but because you're young, you can recover well from surgery. Okay. And then they also said, and this was key, that the cancer was contained in the prostate. Nothing had spread beyond it. So by taking the prostate, they were pretty confident that they would get all the cancer. Okay. So I said, let's do it. Well, it helped me, number one, become a little bit more aware of how my body functions. Okay. I would say at my age now, I know more about my body than I did when I was younger. Wow. When you're younger, you just go and do, right? But now I'm very aware of the things I can eat and how it affects me, how much pressure I can put on my body when I wear and tear is the word I'm looking for. Okay. When I go, how much of that when I get tired. Yeah. So it's made me more aware of my body in that aspect. Yeah. And as far as, my faith and things of that nature, even through them saying it was surgery, I was confident that God was going to see me through it. Matter of fact, my family was ecstatic. I was really, when I had to go back and say, okay, they want to do surgery. Yeah. They were ecstatic. Good, get it out of here. Yes. Let's get rid of it. Yes. So, My pathology report came back, I think about 14 days after the surgery.
Mm-hmm.
Said I was cancer-free.
Wow.
Praise God.
Thank you, Lord.
No cancer. And so I went through a recovery. I'm still recovering, actually.
Right, I'm about to say,
because I'm healing from the inside.
Yeah.
But I just had my 90-day exam, and the doctor took more blood and said I'm still cancer-free. And he's released me, said I can get back to exercising again.
Oh, wow.
Back to my normal routine.
Yes.
Try not to overdo.
Yes.
My normal routine. And I'm ecstatic. I feel great. I feel good. And I have no cancer in my body. What
kept you uplifted during this time? I know you have a supportive, loving family. You have pastors, your friends praying for you across the country. What kept you uplifted?
Well, you're absolutely right. One thing, my good friend, Pastor Byron Craig, he's in Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
I think the same day of my surgery, when they brought me back to my room, and I was in and out, he walked in.
Oh my God.
He came and he prayed, and my wife had been with me the whole time.
Yeah.
He took them to get something to eat and came back. But he walked in, and I didn't, in my days, I saw him in there, and I was like, wow. And he came all the way from Norristown, Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So that was beautiful. And then pastors were calling me all over the place. And then here's what really encouraged me, to know that the church carried on.
Yeah.
That, they never missed a beat.
Yeah, we didn't.
We brought in some ministers to preach.
We had some good words while you were gone.
While I was gone, and the church just kept going, and that was encouraging.
Yeah.
That to show the growth of the church.
Yeah.
That that one man don't run the show.
Yeah, that's true. Because some people can just say, forget it. They sometimes, just in general, Christians, we may put our everything into a pastor and not God, and then when the pastor is gone, we want to leave.
Absolutely.
Stuff like that. So like you said, it is encouraging to know that the church still went on. People still were praying and worshiping and everything.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
All right, Pastor. Well, thank you so much for sharing.
Hey, thank you, and congratulations on this blog and what you're doing.
Yes.
And I'm honored to be a part of it, and thank you for letting me share my story.
Of course. Thank you.